Hello and welcome back to my channel, Little Pages for Little Learners. My name is Mary and today I'm coming at you with another book review. This video is part of my Beaches and Books Readathon series, and so each of the books in this series follows a specific prompt for the Beaches and Books Readathon. This book follows the prompt for a book about sports. Today's book review is The Hero Two Doors Down by Sharon Robinson. The reading level is 4.3, which means the average fourth grader in the third month would be able to read this book with proficiency, and it is a historical fiction. Many of us probably know that in 1947, Jackie Robinson became the first African American to play baseball in the major leagues. But many of us probably don't know about the relationship he had with his 6-year-old Jewish neighbor, Stephen Satlow. This story, as I mentioned previously, is written by Sharon Robinson, who is the daughter of Jackie Robinson, and it takes place in Brooklyn, New York in 1948. Robinson recalls the stories that were passed down to her by her parents, but also Stephen's parents, and she compiles them into this beautiful, wonderful book. It does include themes that you would expect it to include, such as racism, overcoming racism, and perseverance, but it also includes so much more. In fact, I think it actually has a bigger focus on family, faith, friendship, and unity. The book opens when Stephen, our main character, is 20 years old. He comes home from college, and when he walks in, his mom is completely panicked because his dad is having a heart attack. Miss Robinson starts the book with this tone. This is literally page 1. December 5th, 1959 turned out to be the worst day of my life. I was 20, a sophomore at Brooklyn College. My dream was to one day become a doctor, so I concentrated on being a good student. But I was also a rebel, and my dad was a prime target. Those boyhood years when my dad and I shared a passion for baseball and the Brooklyn Dodgers were gone. Lately, there was more tension between us than love. So already the book kind of sets a tone of some heaviness as far as some family tension within Stephen's family go. By the end of the prologue, Stephen's father passes away, and his mother walks in with a box full of letters and baseball cards and baseballs and memorabilia from Stephen's childhood that his father had actually saved for him, including some letters that he had never actually read. So the prologue ends when his mom brings this box into his room, and then chapter 1 kind of takes us back in time and starts like down memory lane. The rest of the book is this retelling of the relationship between Stephen and Jackie Robinson. In my opinion, the first part of the book really is more about Stephen and his relationship with his father and his family. And you see some of the tensions that the beginning of the book kind of let on. And you also see that he was actually pretty rebellious at school. But as soon as Jackie Robinson enters the picture, everything changes. Through their relationship, Stephen learns respect, self-control, and patience. And the lasting bond between Stephen's family and the Robinsons' family becomes even more evident in the afterword, which I am not going to say about that because I do want to save that as a special treat for you to read on your own, because I hope that you pick this book up. It is truly wonderful. So this story is truly a beautiful story, and it will make you fall in love with baseball. It will make you want to look up facts about the Brooklyn Dodgers. You will want to know who the coaches were, who the managers were, where Ebbets Field is. You will want to know all of those things. You will laugh, smile, and cry multiple times. It is written simple enough for a fourth grader to understand, but its poignant lessons will touch the hearts of all readers. Of course, as I mentioned, some of the social issues addressed are racism and conquering it, faith and religion. Some themes are perseverance, sacrifice, friendship, family, and childhood. At this point, I'm going to go ahead and read a couple passages from the book to give you a feel of the tone, the word choice, and just the overall message of the book. So we are going to start when Stephen, who is 6 years old in this book, meets Jackie Robinson for the first time at Ebbets Field. "I think it's Jackie and Roy Campolina," I said. "So it is," Dad replied. "Are they coming to meet us? Could this be possible? Had my father made this happen too?" My heart pounded against my chest so hard it frightened me. I was frantic. The moment I'd been waiting for had arrived, and I couldn't think of anything to say. My father grabbed my hand. "Let's go, Steve. I know this is what you wanted." We closed the gap between the famous ball players and ourselves. I looked up at my hero and my mind went blank. I stood frozen. "Steve," Jackie said, extending his hand toward me. My eyeballs nearly popped out of their sockets. "He knows my name!" I reached out and took Jackie's hand. No words came to mind or out of my mouth. I just stared like a starstruck kid. And then at the end of this exchange, it ends like this. When Jackie turned to leave, I called out, "What should I call you?" If you don't love Jackie Robinson when you start this book, you are going to love him by the end of this book. Jackie flashed me a smile that would warm the North Pole. Call me Jackie. You just immediately want to meet this man, right? This amazing, incredible athlete and incredible human, and just call me Jackie. I love that. As I mentioned before, there are a lot of references to coaches, managers, baseball players, and some of the historical context of just like baseball itself that I don't know about you, but it certainly made me want to start like Googling things and looking things up. And so this quote is going to highlight like one of those times. "Did you notice that Branch Rickey patted the outfield wall?" my father asked me as the Dodgers took to the field. "Mm-hmm," I murmured, looking toward the outfield wall. "I see it now." "Mr. Rickey did that to prevent another Pete Reiser injury," Dad said. So immediately, you want to look up Branch Rickey, you want to look up Pete Reiser, you want to know about that injury, and you want to know about padded walls on a baseball field, right? Things that we take for granted, but were part of how baseball formed to what we know it is today. The only real warning in this book, I think, really is more for adults that we're going to pick up on, and it really is about regrets with relationships and with our parents. And when a parent passes, there's so much that's just too late to recover, and that is very heavy and very evident. I think that some of that will go over the kids' heads, but if you read this book with your child, you're going to pick up on those themes. And because the story opens up the way it opens up, it filters through how you interpret Stephen and his father's relationship throughout the whole book. And it's both beautiful and heartbreaking. The only other thing to consider is that it is written very simply. I don't think that it is written in a way that talks down to kids, but I do think that it is written in a way that is explaining to children. There are a lot of cases where the adults, either Stephen's parents or Jackie and Rachel, are talking to Stephen, but they're also talking to the reader. So they're using very simple, easy to understand, easy to digest language on some really complex, heavy topics. And I think sometimes authors can do that in a way that it talks down to the child. And I actually think that Sharon Robinson does a marvelous job using simplistic language, teaching, instructing, and guiding a child without talking down to them. And so if you do decide to pick up this book, you will see what I'm talking about. You will see where the adults are talking to Stephen, but they're really talking to the reader. But I think she just really does a masterful job of still elevating the child and helping the child process this information, assuming that they're reading it by themselves. If you are looking for another fabulous book about Jackie Robinson, there is a picture book called Teammates by Peter Goldenbach. And this book focuses on the relationship and friendship between Jackie Robinson and Pee Wee Reese, and it is phenomenal. I do hope you consider picking up a copy of The Hero Two Doors Down. I think that it is a delightful, heartwarming story, and it is perfect for any Dodger fan, LA or Brooklyn Dodger, and especially for fans of Jackie Robinson. It is just a beautiful story that I think you will love. And that is it for this book review. I will catch you next week with another book review. We'll see you then.